Friends, it is one of the deepest honors and privileges of my life to extend a heartfelt welcome. A heartfelt welcome and an invitation to no one else but the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Modi ji. I ask that on this auspicious occasion that he join us and that he address us with his remarks. Let us give him a very, very warm welcome.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Chaba Koroshi, President of UN General Assembly, Her Excellency Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the Union, His Excellency Eric Adams, Mayor of New York, and my dear friends from all over the world. Namaskar. Friends, on this fine morning, we are gathered here at the United Nations, at the meeting point of entire humanity. In this wonderful city of New York, I know many of you have come here from far away. Most of you have woken up before sunrise and made the effort to come here. I am delighted to see you all, and I thank you all for coming. Friends, I am told that almost every nationality is represented here today. And what an amazing cause to bring us all together, yoga. Yoga means to unite. So your coming together is an expression of another form of yoga. I remember about 9 years ago, right here at the UN, I had the honor to propose celebrating the International Day of Yoga on 21st June. It was wonderful to see the entire world come together to support the idea back then. I've just paid respect to the brave UN peacekeepers. In 2015, I had called for a new memorial to be built at the UN in their memory. And last week, the whole world joined hands with India to make this reality soon. As the largest troop contributing nation, we are grateful to all nations for their expression of support to this noble cause. Last year, the entire world came together to support India's proposal to celebrate 2023 as the International Year of Millets. Millets are a superfood. They promote holistic health and are good for environment too. And today, it is wonderful to see the entire world come together again for yoga. Friends, yoga comes from India, and it is a very old tradition. But like all ancient Indian traditions, it is also living and dynamic. Yoga is free from copyright, free from patents, and free from royalty payments. Yoga is adaptable to your age, gender, and fitness level. Yoga is portable. You can do it at home or at work or in transit. Yoga is flexible. You can practice it alone or in a group, learn from a teacher or be self-taught. Yoga is unifying. It is for everyone, for all ethnicities, for all faiths, and for all cultures. Yoga is truly universal. Friends, when we do yoga, we feel physically fit, mentally calm, and emotionally content. But it is not just about doing exercise on a mat. Yoga is a way of life, a holistic approach to health and well-being, a way to mindfulness in thoughts and actions, a way to live in harmony with self, with others, and with nature. I am delighted that many of you are working on scientifically validating different aspects of yoga. Indeed, this is the way. Friends, I know you are all keen to get started. Well, so am I. I want to thank the United Nations for hosting us here today. I am grateful to the mayor and the city of New York for all their help and support in making this event success. And most of all, want to thank you all once again for being here today. Let us use the power of yoga not only to be healthy, happy, but also to be kind to ourselves and to each other. Let us use the power of yoga to build bridges of friendship, a peaceful world, and a cleaner, greener, and sustainable future. Let us join hands together to realize the goal of one earth, one family, one future. I conclude with a wish. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya. May everyone be happy. May everyone be healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister Modi ji, for conveying such an inspirational message to us, for elaborating more about our theme, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, and stressing how yoga is really a way of life. At this time, I request that our esteemed dignitaries please leave the stage and join us below for the yoga lesson, because we would like to start that soon. You may... Friends, I'm now going to call upon yoga instructor Miss Annalise Richmond so that she can join on the stage. Quickly. we're going to prepare the stage so that we can get it ready for our yoga lesson. I've mentioned before that we'll have 6 energetic youngsters leading us along with Miss Annalise Richmond in this lesson. And we have more in the first row here on the north lawn joining us so that people behind can also follow that way too. I'm requesting that everyone stay on your yoga mat in your spot and to follow our yoga instructor and our yoga practitioners to the best of our ability. It's such a beautiful morning to have this opportunity to engage in yoga. The sun is not so strong, and we have a nice breeze coming through, which makes for a very pleasant morning for us to all share in this collective group. I'm delighted now to hand over the floor to our accomplished yoga instructor, Miss Annalise Richmond, who will now start our yoga session.
Thank you, Denise. A very warm welcome to our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji and dignitaries. It is an honor to have you with us in our midst. We are delighted. Namaste. Let us all enter into the world of yoga together. Can you hear me in the back? Yes. Good. Let's bring our hands together in front of the heart in prayer pose. Keep the shoulders relaxed. And we'll do an invocation together. We'll be chanting Om 3 times together. Let's close the eyes. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And let us chant Om. Deep breath in. Breathe in.
Sangachadvam samvadadvam samvo manamsi janatam deva bhagam yatha purve sanyanana upasate sanyanana upasate Sanyanana upasate.
Let's relax our hands in our lap. And when you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes. We'll start our yoga sadhana, or yoga practice, with some loosening exercises to increase the circulation in the body. So let's stand up. We'll start in samastiti, alert posture. So the feet 2 to 3 inches apart from each other in parallel. Stand with the spine tall. And let's bring our hands onto our waist. We'll do neck exercises first. Be careful in case of any neck injuries or cervical spondylitis here. Let's inhale, stretch the spine. Exhale, bring the chin to the chest as much as you can, all the way to the chest. Inhale, raise the head back up. Exhale, let the chin and head fall back. Face to the sky. Inhale, head to the center. Exhale, chin to the chest. Relax. Inhale, bring the head back to the center. Exhale, let the head go back, stretching the front of the neck. And one more time, inhale to the center. Exhale, chin to the chest. Stretch the back of the neck. Inhale the head to the center. You can smile. And exhale, let the head go back gently. Open the throat and chest. Inhale back to the center. Relax. Good. Keeping the hands on the waist, we'll twist the neck from right to left. Be careful not to jerk the neck. Let's inhale, stand tall. Exhale, turn the chin over the right shoulder. Look all the way over to the right. Feel the stretch in the left side of the neck. Inhale, back to the center. Smile. Exhale, the chin over the left shoulder. Feel the stretch in the right side of the neck. Good. Inhale, back to the center. And exhale, chin over the right shoulder. Look as far as you can with the eyes. Inhale, back to the center. Breathe in. Exhale, chin over the left shoulder. Look to the left. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. And exhale, relax. Good. Now we'll do trunk twisting to warm up the body and spine. Be careful of any spinal injuries in this warm-up. So let's bring the feet 1 foot apart. Feet in parallel in samastiti, alert posture. Back is tall. Inhale, take the arms out in front of you, hands parallel to each other. Exhale, keep the hips where they are. Turn just the upper body to the right. Left palm towards the right shoulder. Look to the right. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. Palms facing each other. Exhale, twist just the upper body to the left. Palm facing the left shoulder. Good. Inhale, come back. Looking forward, palms facing each other. Exhale, twist just the upper body to the right. Look to the right. Left palm to the right shoulder. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. And exhale, twist just the upper body to the left. Right palm towards the left shoulder. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. You can smile. Exhale, relax. Good. Now let's start our yoga asanas, or yoga postures. We'll start with Tadasana, the palm tree posture. If you have any arthritis in the lower extremities, don't raise up onto your ankles in this posture. So for Tadasana, we'll start in samastiti, feet 2 to 3 inches apart from each other. And inhale, raise the arms up to shoulder height. Exhale, clasp the fingers and push the palms away from you. Good. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale here, lengthen the spine. Inhale, come up onto the toes and breathe here. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, grow taller. And breathe out, slowly lower down the feet. Unclasp the hands slowly with awareness on the body. Lower the arms down slowly. Good. And relax. And now again, let's bring the feet 2 to 3 inches apart. Samastiti, alert posture. We'll take a back bend. If you have any vertigo or back injuries, be careful with this pose. So Ardha Chakrasana, the half wheel posture. Let's take the hands to the waist. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, slide the fingers back to support the back, elbows in parallel behind the back. Inhale, let the head go back, opening the front of the neck. As you exhale, bend from the lumbar spine, go back carefully and easily as far back as you can. And let's breathe here. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and out. Awareness on the whole body. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Inhale, lift the chest, come back up. Slowly. Good. And exhale, relax. Good. We'll take a forward bend. Pada Hastasana, the hands to the feet posture. So keeping the feet in parallel, 2 to 3 inches apart from each other. Inhale, take the arms up from the front, all the way up. And exhale, bending only from the hip joint. Keep the legs straight. Start to reach forward. Stretch your fingertips forward till your body is like a table parallel to the ground. And now slowly lower the fingertips down. Either bring the hands to the shins or fingertips to the ground or the palms on the ground if you can. Drop your head towards your knees. Let's take a few deep breaths. Breathe in. And breathe out. Keep the legs straight. Breathe in. As you breathe out, head towards the knees. Breathe in. Breathe out. Go a little further. Breathe in. And breathe out. Good. Inhale, slide the fingertips forward. Stretch the arms forward. Let the back come up with the arms. Breathe in slowly. Come all the way up. Smile. Good. And relax. Excellent. And we'll go to the floor. You can just stretch the legs out in front of you. Put your hands behind your back in a relaxed posture. Let the head go back a little. Vishramasana. This is our relaxation pose. And now let's bring the feet together. Toes pointing up to the sky. Hands beside the hips, spine tall. Tadasana. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Good. Exhale, press the hips into the ground. And now we'll do Bhadrasana, the firm posture. So be careful in this posture in case of sciatica or arthritis. Let's inhale, bring the feet together, soles of the feet together. Exhale, wrap your hands around your feet. Good. Inhale, sit tall. And exhale, pull the heels as close as you can to the perineum. Relax. If you like, you can even close your eyes here. Breathe in. Exhale, let the knees drop towards the ground. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe into the whole body. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Gently stretch the legs back out. Put the hands behind your back. Recline back just a little. Again, Vishramasana. Let the head fall back a little. Good. And again, we'll come into Dandasana. The toes pointing up. Hands beside the hips. Press down into the ground a little. Lengthen the spine. Breathe in. Exhale. We'll come into Vajrasana, the diamond pose. Be careful of this pose in case of ankle or knee injuries. Let's inhale. Bring the right heel towards the right buttocks. Exhale. Inhale. Left heel towards the left buttocks. Place the buttocks in the space between the toes and the heels. Hands on the knees. And you can gaze softly downwards or close the eyes. Let's take a few deep breaths. With the awareness on the whole body. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. One more breath. Breathe in. And breathe out. And when you feel ready, you can open the eyes. Good. We'll take a back bend. We'll take the half camel posture, Ardha Ustrasana. Let's inhale, come up onto our knees. Ooh, that's a relief, isn't it? Okay, and let's bring our hands onto our lower back. Be careful in this pose in case of vertigo or any spinal injuries. So let's inhale here. Bring the elbows towards each other behind the back. Let the head fall back. And exhale, bend backwards from the upper back, arching backwards. Chest to the sky. Breathe in, breathe out. Let the head fall back easily. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. One more time. Breathe in and out. Inhale, come back up slowly with awareness on the whole body. Good. Exhale, gently relax. Good. Now we'll bend forward. So we'll take Shashakasana, the hare posture. So be careful in case of osteoarthritis of the knees. You can come out of this posture. Yeah? Inhale, open the knees. Exhale, let's put the hands between the legs. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, slide forward gently and slowly, all the way, keeping the arms in parallel with each other. Bring the chin to the ground if you can, and relax the whole body. If the chin doesn't want to touch the ground, bring the forehead to the ground and relax. Breathe into your hips. Breathe in. Breathe out. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more gentle breath in and out. Good. Inhale, come back up slowly with awareness on the whole body. Breathe in. Exhale, close the knees. Good. And we'll take the stretched up frog posture, Uttana Madhukasana. So inhale, let's take the knees to the side. Again, if this is bothering your knees, you can sit in a different position for this. Yeah. Inhale, take the arms up from the front, stretch the spine, smile, and exhale, bend from the elbows only, the palms onto alternate shoulder blades. Right palm on the left shoulder blade, left palm on the right shoulder blade. See if you can keep the chin parallel to the earth. And let's take a few deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe into the chest. Notice the chest is opening. Breathe in. Breathe out. You can smile. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Inhale. Raise the arms up. Good. Exhale. Relax. And you can close the knees. And the moment you've been waiting for, let's slide down onto our mat on our stomach. Come all the way down. Make a pillow with the hands. Turn your head to the right side. Take your feet 2 feet apart or so. Let them splay out to the side. Turn the head, put it onto the hands. Makarasana, crocodile pose. You're like a crocodile resting in the sun. Let the breath relax. Good. Now bring the legs together. Take the arms out in front of you. You can have them resting on the ground. We'll do Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Be careful of this pose in case of hernia or any abdominal injuries. Inhale, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, elbows close to the body. Exhale here. And inhale, lift the head, chin, chest, upper chest until the navel. And breathe here. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Relax the shoulders. Push them down and back. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more breath in. Come a little higher. And exhale. Slowly lower down. Again, make the pillow with the hands. Turn the head this time to the left side. Legs apart. Makarasana on the other side. Crocodile pose. Resting in the sun. Let the breath relax. Now gently, let's turn onto our backs. Gently roll to the back. Relax. And we'll do Pavan Muktasan, the wind-freeing posture. So inhale, bring the knees up. Exhale, bring the knees to the chest, towards the chest. Inhale, clasp the fingers together, place them on the shins, wrap the arms around the legs. Exhale, bring the forehead towards the knees until the chin or nose touches the knees. Breathe in and breathe out. Deep breaths. Awareness on the whole body. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. One more breath. Breathe in and exhale. Release the head down. Relax the legs. Slide them down onto the ground. Let the legs be 1 to 2 feet apart. Let the toes fall out to the sides and the arms by your sides. Palms facing up to the sky, relaxing the arms on the ground. Shavasana or corpse pose. Relax the whole body. Become aware of the natural flow of the breath. And let's take our attention to our toes and feet, ankles, legs, knees, thighs, and hips, our abdomen, stomach, chest, shoulders, right arm and hand. Eyes are closed. Left arm and hand. The neck and the throat. The head and face. Eyes. The top of the head, the whole body, the whole body. Slowly and gradually, take a deep breath in and breathe out. Let's turn and rest on our right side for a moment, resting on the right side. Slowly and gently, come all the way back up to a comfortable, easy seated position. You can sit cross-legged if you like, or in lotus or half lotus. Sit with the spine tall. And we'll practice some breathing techniques or pranayama. So with the spine tall, let's bring our hands into Gyan Mudra. A mudra is a hand position that directs the flow of prana or energy in the body. So index finger and thumb are lightly touching and the backs of the hands resting on the lap. Good. We'll do Kapalabhati breathing. So in Kapalabhati breathing, we'll be forcefully contracting the abdomen and the air forcefully shoots out of the nose like this. In Kapalabhati breathing, after we contract the abdomen and the air comes out of the nose, the inhalation happens on its own. Okay? We'll take 20 repetitions of Kapalabhati breathing. So let's close the eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And we'll take 20 rounds of Kapalabhati. Let's begin. Relax. With the eyes closed, relax the hands. Notice the energy or prana in the body, all over the body. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Good. And we'll do Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, or alternate nostril breathing. So let's bring the left hand into Jnana Mudra. Index finger and thumb lightly touching, other 3 fingers extended. Rest the left hand on the knee, left knee. And the right hand, let's take it into Pranayama Mudra. So you'll bring the index and middle finger towards the palm and place the right thumb on the right nostril. Close the nostril. And exhale out of the left nostril. Close the eyes. Good. Inhale through the left nostril. Close it with the ring finger. And exhale out of the right nostril. Good. Inhale through the right. Close the nostril with the thumb. Exhale out of the left. Inhale through the left. Close with the ring finger. Exhale out of the right. Inhale through the right. Close with the thumb. Exhale out of the left. Inhale through the left nostril. Close with the ring finger. Exhale out of the right. One more. Inhale through the right. Close with the thumb. Exhale out of the left. With the eyes closed, relax the right hand in the lap. If you like, you can bring it into Gyan Mudra. Relax the hands. And notice the balance in the body and the balance between the right and left hemisphere of the brain. And when you feel ready, you can gently and slowly open your eyes. We'll do one more pranayama, Brahmari pranayama. So let's bring, again, the hands into Gyan Mudra, index finger and thumb lightly touching. In Brahmari pranayama, we'll be making the sound of a bee, a humming sound, like this. We'll do this with a special mudra called Shanmukhi Mudra. We'll be closing off all of the senses. Yeah? So let's bring the hands towards the face. Shanmukhi Mudra, we close the eyes, gently touch the index fingers onto the eyelids, and then the middle fingers onto both sides of the nose without closing the nostrils. the ring finger above the lips, right below the nose, and place the pinky finger right beneath the lips. And we'll be, in a moment, closing the ear flaps with the thumbs. And we're going to be taking deep breaths in and breathing out with the humming sound 3 times. So let's go ahead and close the ear flaps with the thumbs. Take a deep breath in. And breathe out with a humming sound. Deep breath in. Again with the humming sound. One more time. Deep breath in. Breathe out. With the eyes closed, relax the hands in the lap. We'll be practicing dhyan or meditation. You can keep your eyes closed and bring the hands into dhyan mudra, which is into the center of the lap. Bring the right hand into the center of the lap, palms facing up, and the left hand into the center of the lap, and bring the right hand on top of it. Both palms facing up. The palms are stacked. And with the eyes closed, let's take a deep breath in. And breathe out. Relax the shoulders. Take a long, deep breath in. As you breathe out, feel the weight of the body dropped onto the ground where you're sitting. Become aware of the whole body. And become aware of all the sounds around you. Any sounds that you hear, notice them. And let the sounds be there as they are. You are in harmony with the environment as it is. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of any thoughts that are floating through the mind. Do not resist any thoughts. Let them come. Now you are in harmony with the thoughts, with the mind. And become aware of any feelings, pleasant or unpleasant. Accept the feelings as they are. You are peace. You are joy. Breathe in and let go. Again, become aware of your feelings. Become aware of your thoughts. Become aware of your whole body. And let's immerse ourselves in the sounds.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Take a deep breath in and breathe out. A long, deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your whole body and where you're seated on the earth. Breathe in and breathe out. And slowly and gently, when you feel ready, you can gradually open your eyes. Good. Namaste.
Om Shanti Shanti Om, everyone. What an uplifting and revitalizing yoga session we've had. And the sun even started to come out even more, shining its rays upon us so gloriously. We're here in this beautiful North Lawn of the United Nations headquarters in New York City, celebrating World Yoga Day 2023. A sincere thank you, Annalise Richmond, and to all our young yoga practitioners who've helped to demonstrate during this yoga session. We have an unforgettable event with them and for the youngsters in the first row leading us as well this morning. One more round of thanks to them as they exit the stage and take their leave.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Have a beautiful day.
Our deepest gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, for gracing us with his presence and in creating this wonderful memory at the iconic United Nations headquarters that we cherish from years to come. Friends, I am going to ask if you can please stay in your seats. Please remain seated while the Honorable Prime Minister of India meets and greets participants. The Honorable Prime Minister will meet and greet participants. May I ask for your cooperation and your understanding.
All right, these images coming to you from the lawns of the United Nations in New York City. The Yoga Day celebrations are slowly coming to an end. Prime Minister Modi has been leading that unique yoga session at the UN headquarters. It is a historic celebration to commemorate 9th International Day of Yoga, which saw participation from top UN envoys and officials from across the world, also prominent individuals.
Excellencies and friends, I have some incredible news to share. A Guinness World Record is created today. Today we have gone for a Guinness World Record now in the books. It's a world record for the most nationalities in a yoga lesson. The most nationalities in a yoga lesson right here at New York UN headquarters. Big congratulations to all of us for being part of this historic event. To share more details and conducting this formal proceeding, I'd like to have the Guinness World Records official adjudicator, Mr. Michael Emprick, to the stage. I'm going to ask people to please remain at your mats. Please allow His Excellency.
Namaskar. Coming to you for several more reactions over there. Prime Minister Modi also getting a chance to reach out and talk to a couple of the yoga practitioners over there. Lots of video, lots of images. It's been a wonderful day when the spirit of yoga has been celebrated in the United States with the message not just for the UN and those collected over there or those assembled over there, but for people across the world. It's a message of peace, a message of unity. We heard the Mayor of New York speak as well when he spoke about how looking after one's emotional needs, one's physical needs, one's mental needs was so very important. It's something that he needed to speak about. The Prime Minister spoke about yoga being a unifying experience, a unifying tool for people across the world. And really what India has done over the last several years, led by the Prime Minister, is to internationalize yoga more than it's ever been done. And it has already been an international phenomena, has yoga, but giving it that impetus, which is what we have seen over the last several years, all the way now to the United Nations, where we've had nationalities, people from all over the world setting a world record, is what has just been announced, a Guinness Book of World Record for the maximum number of people of different nationalities being assembled in any one place practicing yoga. That is very, very welcome indeed. And the Prime Minister was in the middle of the entire gathering over there, following the moves by those yoga gurus on that stage. So all of this has been happening in New York. Let's go across to Dr. Deepak Sachdev. He's a medical yoga expert and president of the Medical Yoga Association. Thanks very much for being with us. Your thoughts about this occasion and the fact that the Prime Minister of India has spearheaded this in a way to make this a truly international phenomena.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Our Prime Minister has taken it to the next level altogether, and a lot of people are now connecting with yoga. And yoga is also now seen as an alternative therapy method. So people are not just doing yoga for the sake of fitness or just for improving their flexibility. But now the entire global community is also looking towards yoga as a therapeutic medium also to heal their medical problems. So yes, the effort of the government, the Prime Minister in particular, is going a long way and is definitely helping people not just uplift themselves physically, but also mentally and spiritually.
I think it's also amazing that there's been a world record by the Guinness Book of World Records, a new record for them, 135 nationalities, people of 135 nationalities. Let's just listen in to what's happening now. The previous record, as I understand it, was people from 114 nationalities had assembled in a place before.
Please, I would request everyone to remain at their seats again. I appreciate your kind understanding and cooperation. I'd like to make a few announcements. We will have a photo opportunity now of some of the youngsters. Please, if you may, please stay at your seat, at your yoga mat.
So the Prime Minister reaching out to some of the young yoga practitioners over there, children, speaking to them, discussing the event. It's been quite informal in a sense. None of the protocol attached with the visiting Prime Minister evident on display over there. The only part of it is, people being told stay in your mats until the Prime Minister departs. But Prime Minister Modi is all too happy to be speaking to those children over there. He addressed the gathering earlier on, and then he went into the middle of the gathering of yoga practitioners, sat with them and practiced yoga. That same stage where he initially spoke to people was the stage which was used by the yoga gurus, and he's very relaxed. He's speaking to all of these children over here, reaching out to them, talking who knows about what, perhaps about yoga, but it's a great sight. Joining us now, Vandana Jhingan, Midwest Bureau Chief of TV Asia. Thanks very much, Vandana, for being with us. It is interesting, your thoughts and whatever we've seen so far today. How significant is it in terms of, reaching a larger international audience?
As you did mention, first.
Go ahead, Vandana.
Morning at the United Nations, presented by the head of the country, Bharat, Honorable Narendra Modi, starting with yoga. Yoga means union. I am myself a practicing yogi from last more than 35 years. Mm-hmm. And when there was a call 9+ years ago at the UN, you know how it.
Vandana, that line with you keeps getting disrupted. We'll try and come back to you in just a few moments from now. More photographs with the Prime Minister. Rajiv Dogra, the Senior Foreign Service Officer, retired, joins us now. Mr. Dogra, when you've sort of practiced Indian foreign policy, you've been a diplomat for so many decades, but, this is India's soft diplomacy, and at so many levels, that's also been such an important part of India's diplomatic message. For example, we've seen it in the past in a different context through Bollywood. We continue to see that. But this is different, this is new, and it seems to appeal to so many people across the world.
Certainly, Vishnu, you put your finger on the pulse of, and also the essence of the subject. Because in today's age, when you have Ukraine on one side, when you have bombs going on one side, and you have friction between countries on one side, you have this message coming out from virtually the center of the world, because United Nations really is the center for everything that can be positive in humanity or together by humanity, that yoga is exactly the one exercise or form of human living that breathes in positivity and brings out positivity, which is exactly what the world needs. But if I may add, yoga is not a new practice for India and nor a new message for the world. In fact, anyone who reads Bhagavad Gita, the message of Krishna is in 18 forms of yoga. And then, since you talk of the soft diplomacy, Chanakya, in his famous work, calls yoga as a form of soft diplomacy. He's talked of soft diplomacy as a practice of diplomacy, an essential practice of diplomacy. And in that, yoga is one of the factors he mentions. So it's not as if yoga is new to India, but the message and the enormity of the message is certainly novel and certainly accepted, as is witnessed by the Assembly at United Nations today.
I think it's also a message which should be looked around the world. It's perhaps not entirely correct to mix geostrategy with a yoga event, but when one talks about India coming of age as an international power, that happens at various levels. Obviously, our economic strength is something that takes us to a certain level. The fact that we are entirely non-aligned even now is something that has helped our diplomatic cause. But would you also agree, Ambassador Dogra, that we are doing this to an international audience? It's being accepted as an international movement by the Prime Minister of India is something which establishes India as one of the major powers in a way that's not been done before.
It's a power with a difference, Vishnu. Just as it was a power with difference when we became one of the founders of the non-aligned movement. And I'm glad we did what we did at that time. So similarly, the time now requires something which is away from acrimony in the world. So in that sense, yes, India has a message which has been accepted. And as you said very rightly, it's not just because of this that India will become a major power. But it is one of the factors that will contribute to India becoming once again a major leader of the South, and also contribute to India being accepted as one of the saner, balanced voices in the higher councils of the world. So in that sense, I think it's a contributory factor.
All right. Thanks very much for being with us. We're going to take a short break. I'd like to invite our guests to stay on. We'll come back to this discussion in the next few minutes.
Brought to you by the World Cup.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change, and it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change, and it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No
Welcome back. So there's been a Guinness Book of World Records record which has now been set with the maximum number of nationalities assembling at the United Nations lawns for International Yoga Day, headed by our Prime Minister. It is a fairly landmark event. It's a different form of diplomacy which India has been quite skilled at in different ways over the decades. Ambassador Veena Sikri joins me as well at this stage. Ambassador, how significant was what we saw at the United Nations today?
I think it's very significant for several reasons. I think, first of all, first time after India supported the resolution in the UN and got the maximum number of co-sponsorships and the resolution was adopted, this is the first time that our Prime Minister is leading the yoga celebrations at the UN headquarters. But I think what is very significant is that the yoga practice today in New York at the UN headquarters was led by a teacher, an American teacher, a very well-experienced and well-versed American teacher who did not in any way try to westernize the yoga that she presented and that she requested her students to perform. She kept the spirit and the universality of yoga fully intact. She began with Om, she ended with Shanti, she explained every exercise, she kept the traditional Indian names of the exercise, the Mahar Asan, the Vajra Asan, all of that, and she explained it very well indeed. Did not try, otherwise you have all kinds of Western names being given to various asanas, and she picked the best. She picked the ones that everybody could perform. She explained the importance of it, the standing postures, the seated postures, the supine postures, and the pranayam. So I think it was a very well done, a very well presented performance exercise of yoga, and it was remarkable to see people from the largest number of nationalities performing well. It is not that they were complete novices. No, they knew what they were doing. They were following the teacher, they were following their leader, and our Prime Minister was sitting amidst them and performing absolutely outstanding because he is so familiar with the yoga exercises himself. So for all of us who are yoga practitioners, this was an excellent message to the world. Our Prime Minister's speech focused on the universality of the message of yoga.
Sure.
That it is for all ethnicities, for all faiths, and it has been accepted as such. This was seen in practice today by those who were there in New York. I think it's a great example of India's cultural diplomacy. The message that yoga is a part of Indian civilization, but it belongs to the world.
Absolutely. I just wanted to go across, Ambassador Sikri, to Dr. Rajkumar Yadav as well. Dr. Yadav, this is also, I think, a larger message to people across India as well, people like me who desperately need to get into yoga a lot more. It helps us in so many ways.
Yes. And in fact, in Delhi, since morning, we are busy to celebrate the great day, the 9th International Day of Yoga, that is today, the 21st of June, 2023. And the best part, which I just observed and just I was watching here, that the announcement of this greatest, the world record, one of the greatest, I can say, the world records, the Guinness Book World Record for this, the yoga being performed by the participants from the maximum number of countries. Almost, I think, 135.
139.
That is, I think, one of the greatest
139,
achievements.
I think.
Yeah,
and that breaks the previous record. You're right. It's 135 nationalities, breaks the earlier record of 114 nationalities.
Yes. So it's 135, and that is in the presence of our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji. And I think that is one of the greatest achievements what we have right now.
No, absolutely. Vandana, sorry, we lost your line earlier. Go ahead with your thoughts as I begin to wrap this up. Yeah, Vandana.
Thank you so very much. I just want to say from the Windy City where Swami Vivekananda came in 1893, and he did say, East has to contribute spirituality to the West, and this is just the beginning, the 9 years completed, and it started in UN. And excited to know that, because we are not talking about the numbers 135, 139, but just imagine it's happening in United Nations, and we should all be, and I really appreciated the previous speaker, Ms. Sikri, since she was talking about, what yoga is. We should talk about yoga. We should not be westernizing it. It belongs to us, and it is for the world, and it ends up with Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is what that message was. And beautiful for a people of diaspora like we are, where we have been seen like, the snake charmers now, what we have contributed. And India does get its respect when we're talking about his meetings, that from economic part of view, and then it is a spiritual part of view. So it is all a best combination. I can just add on to
It is absolutely holistic. I'd like to thank you all very much for being with us. We're going to take a short break. My colleague Sanket Upadhyay comes up next. Stay tuned.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
"23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. not in some far off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers.
Welcome back. So the Prime Minister celebrated the International Yoga Day at the lawns right outside the United Nations. It was a world record as well. There was a certification of getting a congregation of a great number of nationalities. I have with me Ms. Meenakshi Lekhi. She's the Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture. Ms. Lekhi, thank you so much for your time. You know, not just the United Nations, but also setting a world record. What do you think is the message that is going out with an event like this?
See, with an event like this, the message is recognition of Indian value system across the globe, for which our ancestors were responsible, our rishis were responsible, our heritage, which is for the benefit of the mankind. And humanity by and large gets to be benefited, especially when we are discussing sustainable development goals and a world doesn't know which way to move. Disruption of supply chains during pandemic, and one small thing, an intervention like yoga, can help people to achieve the balance between their mind, heart and soul, including their body. To do the right thing and to achieve that balance, yoga is the best format. So it's a positive aspect of intermingling with nationalities and people who usually will be looked at with differences, but here is something which unifies all, and that is well-being of all, is what we believe in.
Right. Ms. Lekhi, now I want to talk about this, this visit itself. According to you, in the government, what is your view on perhaps the realistic potential of achieving what India wants to achieve from a visit like this? What is the realistic potential from a trip like this, from a visit like this?
So there are, one will have to wait and watch. So there are some long-term goals, there are some short-term goals, and there are some immediate goals. So if you divide it into three categories, immediately one will be able to benefit by upping the visibility in the international workspace, beginning of certain collaboration and cooperative exercise when it comes to rule-based order. 3, when India is becoming economy of the scale it is becoming, and the transparent working methodology which India has adopted over 9 years. The world wants to collaborate and co-opt us. And we also wish to be co-opted so that technology transfer and various things happen in the interest of the country. So these are broader frameworks when it comes to defense technology, space technology, various areas of collaboration and cooperation are possible. In addition to the fact that there is a very powerful diaspora, Indian diaspora, which is well respected and recognized by the American society. So a recognition which comes positively to India, and the Prime Minister of India is called to Congress to deliver the address, and there are people, eminent people present in that gathering. It sends a very positive message, and it brings a sense of pride and dignity to most people in the country and outside the country who relate themselves to the well-being of India and Indians, and especially being represented by somebody like the Prime Minister of India. It's a sense of satisfaction and confidence in the minds of people of Indian origin and Indians by and large.
You know,
on the practical side, immediate recognition. Immediate recognition is one. beginning of certain conversations and some achievable doctrines which will be there.
Right. Now, Ms. Lekhi, I'm going to come to some questions related to your role as the Minister of State for External Affairs in just a short moment, but you are also the Minister of State for Culture. Do you feel that in terms of, one is of course the aspect is economic gains with an Indo-US tie-up, but the other is us leaving some sort of a strong geopolitical footprint in the world. We are positioning ourselves as a leader of the global South. This partnership is a big state visit. An important Washington DC leg of the Prime Minister is going to begin now. At a time like this, events like yoga, reaching out to people of different communities, countries, and also the diaspora, what importance does this play? Because I feel that this is a very, very, very staple event in all big international tours of the Prime Minister.
So, the greater understanding that people can develop amongst themselves is people-to-people connection, but more importantly, where your belief system and faith comes from, and the confidence with which you can discuss and talk about subjects. India, for once, I think we are the oldest civilization in the world, and we have not really been speaking about it. And it's not as if people did not want to listen to us. People may have lacked in their understanding because we never spoke about ourselves and we never made people understand what value system is coming from and what is the logic behind. Now, when Prime Minister of India says, Vikas bhi, Virasat bhi, which means while India will progress and adopt Western methodologies in terms of infrastructure development, space, science, technology, etc., but we will also recognize Indian heritage. Because till you recognize your heritage, till you are a successor to a great civilization which has done good to the world, which has brought positivity, prosperity to everyone, which was a science and technology based society, which had positive faith and enforcement of positive regulations, need to be respected by all. And yoga is one big step in international diplomacy, because what is yoga doing? Yoga is basically working for well-being of all and is also keeping suffering and ailments away at no cost or at low cost. So whichever way we look at, especially after pandemic, yoga has only added to the branding of India. While people continued to do yoga, but the branding was not happening, and it is India's gift to the world. So people need to understand that it is India, it's also representing India's value system. So one of the earlier steps which PM took when he became the Prime Minister, in 14 this was a resolution moved, by 15 International Day of Yoga was supported by 172 countries. In a very short span of time, UN resolution got passed, and that showcased what the Indian value system is and the strength of our system. And recognition, global recognition, also brought 172 friends on board. So that was an achievement.
Okay, Ms. Lekhi, you see, this event happened.
Year of the millet, for example, even that is about sustainable development.
Yes, yes, and that was mentioned also in the Prime Minister's speech. You're correct about that. But see, you see, this event happened at the United Nations in the lawns right outside the building. Now, at that very United Nations, you see a nefarious Pakistan-China nexus. For instance, Sajid Mir, mastermind of 2611, UN wanted sanctions and designate him as a global terrorist, and yet China used its veto power to first stop and then block, this resolution. So do you feel that this is also going to be one of the challenges which we need to meet to get the global order together to perhaps isolate this Pakistan-China nexus at that very United Nations?
So there are two aspects to this. One is that global order, ever since UN was formed, the present order is not representing the present day reality. Number two, UN needs to see certain reforms and express present day reality. India is today one of the most populous nations in the world and a growing economy, member of G20 with fifth largest economy. Now, India, if a body does not represent the two value which India brings on the table, then that body is missing the very goal it is sought to be created for. That's number one. Number two, we also represent the global south because we are a large population and we are expressing our aspirations, the needs, the requirements, and even for the developed nations, it is better to coordinate, cooperate with the developing south, because that's where, if investment is brought onto the right subjects, will bring peace and harmony for the globe at large and well-being of all mankind, in addition to adding value to the investments, which only India can express in a rightful position, because we represent both north and the south, and we are the rightful bridge between the two. We are a rightful bridge between east and the west, because on one side we are an eastern civilization, on the western side we have a very formal legal system, we have rule of law, we follow democracy. Every 5 years you have elections, peaceful transition of power from one hand to the other. People get to express themselves differently at different points in time. A very robust society which celebrates diversity and is unified on most fronts. So, keeping all this value system, India is in a very strong position.
All right.
The third aspect, so India has to be seen on that high table. The third aspect is China is exposing itself. By engaging in the activities China is engaging, and people at the end, whether because of their former dependence on the products and things and their policies which have existed in the past, are taking a note of this fact that working with a non-transparent system does not bring value, does not add value, and in addition to the fact, a non-democratic country, in addition to the fact that many things which have happened in the past, supply chain mismanagement, pandemic, so on and so forth. So people are getting more and more wary of working with China. So whatever China may do today, I think it goes to show how different India and China are, and what value is added when you work with India, and that is our message as well, and that is where the world is taking a note of it.
All right.
So far as Pakistan is concerned, I think if you create a Frankenstein, you are the one who will be gobbled up. So if they have been party to terrorism and acts of terrorism, that society is suffering, and results are for everyone to see that if your mind becomes corrupt, the society has to pay for it. And law and order is the first casualty which people are suffering. Well-being is not going to happen. This was one of the richest areas of erstwhile India, and today look how degraded it has become.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Meenakshi Lekhik, for joining us. Thank you so much. We're stopping for a short break at this moment. Be right back.
Amity's facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, Building a Blueprint for Climate Action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debate, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, Building a Blueprint for Climate Action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debate, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, Building a Blueprint for Climate Action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debate, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of
Welcome back. Now, there is talk of an alleged BMC scam during COVID, the COVID center scam. What is this all about? My colleague Megha with the latest.
Well, Sanket, this is, turning into a huge controversy back there in the city of Mumbai. And why is that happening? Two things. One, that, there is an alleged scam that both the CAG, that is the Comptroller and Auditor General, has pointed out in a report, and it's to the tune of 12,000 crore rupees. That's one. On the other hand, there was a complaint that was given to the Mumbai police, which was later turned into an FIR, on which Enforcement Directorate worked and then conducted raids today in the morning in about 15 different premises. The other reason why it's important is that this raid has actually targeted people close to two very prominent politicians in the city of Mumbai. One is Aditya Thackeray, the other is Sanjay Raut. Now, let me explain what the scam is all about. In February last year, BJP leader Kirit Somaiya had approached the Mumbai police with a complaint. That complaint was against a hospital called Lifeline Hospital Management Services. Now, this new company, it seemed, was formed only on papers, and this company was awarded a lot of contracts to the tune of 100 crore is what the allegation of Kirit Somaiya is. The person who is the main managing partner in this company is Sujit Patkar, who is a very close aide of Sanjay Raut. Now, Lifeline was awarded contracts for half a dozen COVID jumbo centers that had come up during the tenure of Uddhav Thackeray as the Chief Minister between 2019 to 2022. The company allegedly only existed on paper when the contract was awarded to it, and this Lifeline Hospital Management Services allegedly is just a bogus false company. Only after the contracts were awarded to it that it started giving documents about its registration. Even right now, we are being told that the documents are not in order. Now, the BMC officials were allegedly aware about this Lifeline company and its bogus status, and even then this was done. What is very interesting is the Pune Municipal Corporation had allegedly blacklisted this company, and yet the BMC went ahead and gave it 21 different contracts. The FIR, of course, been registered in August 2022. Later, the ED started probing, and currently what we are being told is that bureaucrats, some private companies, some private officials, PS of Aditya Thackeray, etc., they are all under the scanner. Very importantly, the former BMC Commissioner, Mr. Chahal, Iqbal Chahal, has already been questioned by the Enforcement Directorate in this case.
Right, Megha, many thanks for joining us. Of course, there are political reactions also coming in, which will play in subsequent broadcasts. Thank you very much. Time for a short break. Be right back.
Brought to you by
The facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, Building a Blueprint for Climate Action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, Building a Blueprint for Climate Action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, Building a Blueprint for Climate Action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. we're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening, not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, Building a Blueprint for Climate Action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This
Hello and welcome. You're watching the news. I'm Gargi Rawat. Thanks so much for tuning in. Coming up ahead, the Prime Minister participates in Yoga Day celebrations at the UN headquarters. We'll get to all that happened over there. Also, Elon Musk has said Tesla is coming to India soon. And the Enforcement Directorate raided a close aide of Aditya Thackeray. All that and more coming up ahead. Let's first take a look at the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi led the Yoga Day event at the UN headquarters on the 9th Yoga Day. Says yoga is universal, free from copyright. Stars, diplomats, political leaders join the Prime Minister. He now heads to Washington, D.C., where the state visit will officially begin. On arriving in New York, the Prime Minister holds a meeting with Tesla founder Elon Musk, who says he's excited about India's future, also says he's confident that Tesla will be in India soon. On the day the Prime Minister arrived in the US at the UN, India slams Chinese efforts at blocking Indian attempts to list the Mumbai terror attack mastermind as a globally designated terrorist. The Enforcement Directorate conducted raids at 15 locations in Mumbai today in connection with an alleged COVID center-related scam. Several people raided, including businessman Sujit Patkar, a close aide of Aditya Thackeray. And we speak to badminton champions Chirag Shetty and Satvik Rankireddy, who rose to number 3 in world rankings in the men's doubles after their win at the Indonesia Open. They say their aim is to become world number 1. A look there at Yoga Day celebrations across the country as well as in New York. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today started his second day of his US visit by leading the yoga event at the United Nations building in New York on International Yoga Day. This is the 9th International Yoga Day. Now, the Prime Minister addressed the gathering, which included several stars, diplomats and political leaders, as well as several prominent personalities. He said yoga is unifying. It is truly universal. It's for all ethnicities, faith and cultures. Later, the Prime Minister will be leaving for Washington, D.C., where the state visit will officially begin. He will meet President Joe Biden and attend the state dinner. Let's listen into what he said.
You are peace.
Yoga is free from copyright, free from patents, and free from royalty payments. Yoga is adaptable to your age, gender, and fitness level. Yoga is unifying. It is for everyone, for all ethnicities, for all faiths and for all cultures. Yoga is a way of life, a holistic approach to health and well-being, a way to mindfulness in thoughts and action.
And NDTV's Amar Siddiqui is there and she's tracking the Prime Minister's US visit. She sent us this report from the UN headquarters.
Right here behind me in the United Nations headquarters North Lawns, we can see 1,000 people performing the yoga at the International Day of Yoga, the 21st of June, being led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi here, an event for which all missions of the United Nations were given an invitation. The UNGA President is participating in the event today, along with several celebrities who have been invited as well. The asanas being performed here by the people, and after this event is over, this the New York leg of the Prime Minister's visit will be over, and he is heading to Washington DC after that, which is going to be the main part of his visit to the United States, because that's when the state visit really starts. On the 22nd is when he will be meeting President Joe Biden for a bilateral meeting. He will also be given a guard of honor, considering this is a state visit. We are expecting some big announcements in the defense sector as well as in the technology sector. In the defense sector, at least 2 deals, the joint and co-production of the GE jet engines with HAL India that will be used in its latest version of the light combat aircraft. If that happens, that really is a big deal, because it might build the ground for technology transfer, considering that India has laid stress on Make in India and Atmanirbharta as far as defense sector is concerned. The other important deal could be a buyer-seller, a purchase of the American drones that India requires at the moment. In the tech sector, we are looking forward to some more development as far as semiconductors are concerned. Both the sides have started the initiative on critical and emerging technologies, and they will take that forward with several announcements in the times to come. As far as the other events of the Prime Minister are concerned, in Washington DC, he'll be addressing a joint session of the US Congress for the second time. That evening, that is 22nd evening, is when state dinner will be thrown for the Prime Minister as well by President Joe Biden. He will also be meeting young entrepreneurs and the Indian diaspora on the 23rd before he wraps up his visit to the United States. With camera person AJ Joseph, this is Maha Siddiqui in New York for NDTV.
Now, shortly after he arrived in the US in New York on Tuesday, the Prime Minister held meetings with nearly 24 thought leaders from various fields, from science to economics as well. Now, significantly, he met Tesla founder and Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk. This is the first time the Prime Minister met Elon Musk since he took over Twitter. Now, after the meeting, Elon Musk said that he's a fan of Prime Minister Modi's and that he's incredibly excited about the future of India.
Well, I'm actually incredibly excited about the future of India. I think India has more promise than any large country in the world. He really cares about India because he's pushing us to make significant investments in India, which it is something that we intend to do, and we're just trying to figure out the right timing. In a nutshell, it was a fantastic meeting with the Prime Minister. I can say he really wants to do the right thing for India. He wants to be open. He wants to be supportive of new companies. And obviously, but at the same time, make sure it accrues to India's advantage, which is, obviously that's the job. I'm saying I am a fan of Modi, so I have to say that.
All right, what's created quite a stir here is Elon Musk saying that Tesla will be in India as soon as humanly possible. So just how significant is that commitment? And what does this mean for India's industry and the government's manufacturing push? Let's take a look at what Elon Musk said, and Sakshi Bajaj gets us the significance.
I'm planning to visit India next year.
Are you planning to invest in India?
I'm confident that Tesla will be in India and will do so as soon as humanly possible. I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for his support, and hopefully we'll be able to announce something in the not-too-distant future.
Are you looking to invest in India, Elon?
Yes.
How soon can we have Tesla in India?
Well, we don't want to jump the gun. We don't want to jump the gun on an announcement, but I think it's it's quite likely that there will be a significant investment and relationship with India in the future.
That's big news. What made you change your mind?
I've never changed my mind.
How was your meeting with the
Prime
Minister?
I have to go, guys. Thank you. It was an excellent, very good conversation.
Coming soon, Tesla in India. That's what the spotlight is on after Elon Musk and Prime Minister Modi met, and Musk said he's excited about India's future. Remember, this comes after previous roadblocks, and now in a big breakthrough, the Tesla CEO has said he is confident Tesla will be in India as soon as possible. While this is a significant development for Tesla and for India, this is a big boost to the electric vehicle market, segment altogether, auto ancillaries and its sustainability goals. While for Tesla, it means diversifying supply chains beyond China and tapping onto market opportunities across the globe. So what were the hurdles or roadblocks earlier? Tesla's request for additional incentives along with India's suggestion that Tesla produce higher content locally were the key differences earlier. While the fine print is still awaited for now, the announcement really comes as a significant move.
And as the Prime Minister arrived in the US at the UN, India slammed Chinese efforts at blocking Indian attempts to list the Mumbai terror attack mastermind as a globally designated terrorist. India denounced China's move to block a proposal at the UN to designate a Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist Sajid Mir, who's wanted for his involvement in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, as a global terrorist. Now, in a sharply worded statement, India said if the proposal did not get through despite several member states co-sponsoring it, India said we have righteous reasons to believe that something is genuinely wrong with the global counter-terrorism architecture.
But when the proposal for listing him did not go through the Security Council sanctions regime, we had strong reasons to believe that something was genuinely wrong in the global sanctions regime, as manifested in the Security Council. If we cannot get established terrorists who have been proscribed across global landscapes listed under the Security Council architecture for pure geopolitical interests, then we really do not have the genuine political will needed to sincerely fight this challenge of terrorism.
Well, news now from Maharashtra and the onion crisis for farmers there. After investing thousands in their crop in the market, they're receiving only 2.5 rupees per kilo for onions. And this despite assurances from the government, nothing has changed for the farmers on the ground. Traders say it's not just Maharashtra, farmers in other states are also growing onion, and this is the reason why the demand for onion has come down.
Balasaheb Pawar from Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra grew onions on his 3-acre land at the cost of 40,000 rupees per acre. But with the market price now at 2.5 rupees a kilo, he will barely make 15,000 rupees for an acre of crop. Naturally, he's upset.
प्याज करने में ये शासन ने जो अनुदान भी नहीं दिया और ये 3 एकड़ में 75,000 इसका तोटा हो गया.
Onion farmers are bearing the brunt of a bumper crop leading to a glut. Traders say not just Maharashtra, farmers of other states are also growing onions, due to which demand from Maharashtra and other states has come down.
5 महिने झालं आमचा कांदा अक्षरशः काडी मोलितो शासन आमच्याकडे लक्ष देत नाही.
महाराष्ट्र में जितना उत्पन्न इसके पहले होता था उसके ज़्यादा भी उत्पन्न अभी कर्नाटक, तमिलनाडु, केरल उधर स्थानिक हो रहा है. इसके लिए उधर जो इधर से कांदा खरीद करके खरीदार जो बेचते थे वो कम हो गया. बोले इसकी वजह से उसके जो रेट जो कम आ रहे प्याज के.
In March this year, farmers marched 110 kilometers from Nashik to Mumbai, demanding the right price for their produce as well as help to tackle the impact of low price of onions. The government assured farmers that they will be helped in an attempt to convince them to end their protest.
सरकार इंटरवेन करेंगी और किसानों को राहत देगी, इस प्रकार का लिखित स्वरूप में आश्वासन दिया था. लेकिन आज जब किसान बहुत संकट में है, 2 रुपए प्रति किलो की दर से अपनी प्याज बेचने के लिए मजबूर है, सरकार कुछ नहीं कर रही.
Farmers' leaders are upset with the government as there has been no change in the condition of the farmers, despite promises. While the government promises relief to the farmers, the question is, when will the promise of financial assistance from the government come through? With Sagar Dusal in Ahmednagar and Sohit Mishra in Mumbai, Sneha Koshi for NDTV.
Political fireworks in Mumbai ahead of the BMC polls. The Enforcement Directorate today conducted raids at 15 locations in Mumbai in connection with a money laundering case which is connected to COVID centres. Now, the raids were against businessmen Sujit Patkar and Suraj Chavan and others who are close associates of Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray leader Sanjay Raut and Aditya Thackeray.
BMC elections are expected in the next 4 months. But the fireworks have already begun. This morning, the Enforcement Directorate raided 15 premises, of which one was the residence of Aditya Thackeray's personal secretary, Suraj Chavan, and the other belonged to the key aide and close friend of Sanjay Raut, Sujit Patkar. The reasons behind the raids: an old complaint by BJP leader Kirit Somaiya, which was converted into an ED case. Let me explain what the scan is all about. In February last year, BJP leader Kirit Somaiya had approached the Mumbai police with a complaint. That complaint was against a hospital called Lifeline Hospital Management Services. Now, this new company, it seemed, was formed only on papers, and this company was awarded a lot of contracts to the tune of 100 crore is what the allegation of Kirit Somaiya is. The person who is the main managing partner in this company is Sujit Patkar, who is a very, very close aide of Sanjay Raut. Now, Lifeline was awarded contracts for half a dozen COVID jumbo centres that had come up during the tenure of Uddhav Thackeray as the Chief Minister between 2019 to 2022. The company allegedly only existed on paper when the contract was awarded to it, and this Lifeline Hospital Management Services allegedly is just a bogus false company. Only after the contracts were awarded to it that it started giving documents about its registration. Even right now, we are being told that the documents are not in order. Now, the BMC officials were allegedly aware about this Lifeline company and its bogus status, and even then this was done. What is very interesting is the Pune Municipal Corporation had allegedly blacklisted this company, and yet the BMC went ahead and gave it 21 different contracts. The FIR, of course, been registered in August 2022. Later, the ED started probing, and currently what we are being told is that bureaucrats, some private companies, some private officials, PS of Aditya Thackeray, etc., they are all under the scanner. Very importantly, the former BMC Commissioner, Mr. Chahal, Iqbal Chahal, has already been questioned by the Enforcement Directorate in this case. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. A recent CAG report has pointed towards irregularities worth 12,000 crore. This week, the Maharashtra government has formed an SIT to probe the matter.
ज्या भ्रष्टाचाराच्या संदर्भात सीएजीने आपल्या रिपोर्टमध्ये भ्रष्टाचार झाल्याच्या संदर्भातलं सूतोवाच केलं, आता त्याच्यावर काल माननीय मुख्यमंत्र्यांनी चौकशी तयार केली आहे, SIT तयार केली आहे.
While the Shiv Sena's tenure in BMC ended a year ago, work is going on under the supervision of BMC administration till the elections are held. After Chief Minister Shinde ordered an inquiry, former Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray alleged that in the last 1 year there have been many scams in the BMC and 7,000 to 8,000 crore rupees have been used by the administration from the BMC's fixed deposit.
स्थिति हुई है कि खुद ने चोरी की है, चोरी कर रहे हैं, दिन दहाड़े कर रहे हैं, और इसीलिए हम 1 तारीख को मुंबई की ओर से, मुंबई की जितने सारी जनता है उनकी ओर से मुंबई महापालिका पर हम मोर्चा लेकर जाएंगे.
Now this fight between the two factions of Shiv Sena is to establish themselves at the BMC. While Uddhav Thackeray has so far successfully managed to keep majority of his councillors with himself, in the last few months, Eknath Shinde has been trying to make his place in Mumbai by overseeing projects like the MTHL and the coastal roads. In the race to get in